cook and her husband, who always sleep downstairs in their little room by the laundry, left yesterday for their hometown. After all the madness of Carnival, Danilda had given the servants the weekend off, and we are alone in the house. A fact the man in the black ski mask surely knows. This is an inside job, and you're screwed. I try the French doors, the only exit off the balcony, and they are bolted from the inside. I'm hoping the man will just get what he came for and leave. But this line of reasoning is cut short because at the other end of the balcony, I see a flashlight beam swing an arc across the night air and come to rest a few inches from my bare feet. I flatten myself up against the house, hoping he won't see me, my arms outstretched against the white stucco wall, like Jesus hanging on the cross. The flashlight beam moves back inside, but now through the windows I can see it moving down the hall toward me, scanning the empty rooms. Any second, he is going to open the door to the balcony and stare me in the face. Quickly I weigh the options of jumping to the ground versus being shot or kidnapped, and who knows what horrors await me then. I determine that anything is better than having them take me, and this is when the voice tells me, hang from the balcony, in the darkness he won't see you. I throw first one leg, then the other over the railing, feeling the rough wood chafe against my naked thigh, then lower myself till my weight is suspended by my hands gripping the cool cement floor as I dangle above the ground. But once I'm underneath the balcony, I spy a wooden pole holding it up, grab it and shinny down. As soon as my feet hit the moist grass, I start running. I consider hiding in the jungle till they're gone. Don't go there, it's full of snakes. My wobbly legs threatening to give way, I move onto that wretched dirt road, running down the mountain at midnight, over the rocks, the burrs, the branches, the cow manure squishing between my toes, expecting to hear shouting or gunshots any minute, for who knows if they have a lookout stationed at the entrance to the estate. I won't notice the damage to my bare feet until days later, but strangely in that instant, another thought leaps to mind. You came to Brazil to get a story. Well, by God, you've got one. Now all you have to do is live to tell it. This particular story had begun 2 years prior, back in California, at a time when I was desperately trying to finish a biography I'd been working on for 10 years. I told a friend that as a reward to myself, I intended to take a long vacation to Latin America to relax when I finished the book. As if the universe were listening, the following week I found a brown paper package covered with foreign stamps stuffed into my mailbox. I opened it and hurriedly skimmed the cover letter, which invited me to come to Brazil to write the life story of a woman named Danilda Lizardo dos Santos, all expenses paid. The pitch included a binder of photos of her estate on top of a mountain above Parachi, with breathtaking views of the Atlantic coast in the distance. This is where I'd be staying. I researched Danilda and the man who had sent me the package, Jerry Havda, a Czech documentary filmmaker. He had been friends with Jenny for 30 years. Like many of her acquaintances, he had long encouraged her to write the story of her life, one filled to the brim with outrageous incidents of fortune and mayhem. Jerry, experienced in organizing large projects as a producer, volunteered to bring together the elements to put the book project in motion, including finding an author and a translator, since Jenny spoke no English. Having read Desert Flower, a book I'd written, Jerry determined I was the right woman for the job, and he'd composed a very professional pitch designed to lure me to South America. My collaborator sent me 200 pages of notes Danilda had put down, a record of her life's events. She had the rather remarkable pedigree of having been a political dissident, maid, refugee, television game show personality, cargo boat cook, exotic dancer, laundress, factory worker, jewelry maker, shepherd, trafficker of leftist guerrillas, fashion model, dishwasher, La Scala opera slave, restaurateur, chorus girl, innkeeper, and of course, Michael Jackson impersonator. Who could resist this assignment? When I landed in Rio de Janeiro, waiting for me was Dinny herself, a tall, muscular negra brasileira with a blinding white smile. Also waiting with a look of nervous anticipation was Fernanda, who would serve as our translator while I interviewed Dinny. She was very pale, of Italian descent, and had the bulging, luminous black eyes and dramatic mannerisms of a telenovela star. They loaded my 2 bags into a hired car, and the driver remained stoic and silent, while the women chattered on like multilingual magpies. Catchy! Fernanda opened the questioning, demonstrating what I'd learned was Brazilians' common inability to pronounce Kathy. We are dying to find out your zodiac sign. 4 hours later, we pulled into the UNESCO heritage site of Perichi, a picturesque colonial village of white stucco buildings and palm trees on the southern coast of Brazil, a resort town popular with Italian and French tourists. I later learned that before I arrived, Nilda had been sauntering down Perichi's cobblestone streets, bragging about the, quote, famous American writer who was coming to research her life story. In a town of 35,000, this type of news travels far and wide and fast. A mud-splattered Toyota pickup pulled up next to us, and I noticed with some alarm that our driver was now taking my red suitcases and tossing them in the back of the 4x4. Next, he grabbed my backpack containing $5,000 worth of electronics equipment. Wait, I hollered just before he launched it onto the truck bed. What are you doing? Catchy, we are getting in this vehicle, said Fernanda. But why? She and Denny grinned. You'll see. A young white guy with crystalline blue eyes sat behind the wheel of the Toyota, his biceps bulging out of his t-shirt. He adjusted his baseball cap in the rearview mirror, then slid his hand down his jeans. I had no idea at this point in the journey that I would later be seeing him with those jeans off. Thank you.